killed the front.
The best of the best go head to head on the biggest night of the summer. The MLB All-Star Game, July 17th at the Fox.
Every time a customer walks through the door, we promise to take care of the car. There's no shortcuts in life. If you're gonna do something, do it right the first time.
Firestone Complete Auto Care. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
What a stunning variety of 6 meals in mint condition. Look at this new KFC Crispy Kernel Sandwich. The latest of KFC's $5 fill-ups. I reckon everything in this collection costs just $5 each. Congratulations. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Nothing works up my thirst for an ice-cold Pepsi-Cola like getting buckets. Whether I'm breaking ankles or breaking hearts.
Hey, Drew.
It always brings some refreshment. I've been drinking it a long time. Drew, how old are you anyway, man? Doesn't matter. Oh, Drew, in is June 29th. Future tastes good.
Do your thing. Flee that mess. Seize that moment. Find your inspiration. Be extraordinary. Spread your wings. Mazda. Feel alive. Drive a Mazda this summer and chase the sun.
Today, back pain can't win. Now introducing Aleve Back and Muscle Pain. Only Aleve targets tough pain for up to 12 hours with just one pill. Aleve Back and Muscle, all day strong, all day long.
With Scotch Blue Platinum Painter's Tape, you can prep any angle quicker and easier. 3M's advanced poly material helps stop paint seepage, and it's easy to remove in one long pull, so you can pull off a better paint job. Scotch Blue Platinum Painter's Tape.
The moment you realize your half bath needs your full attention.
At Lowe's, we'll help you turn the bathroom you have into the one you've always wanted.
Lowe's 4th of July savings continue with up to 40% off select bath essentials.
Sam Adams Summer Ale. The official beer of summer. Pairs well with this. And that.
We will be there in no time.
Not so much this. And it tastes pretty great with that. Because it's summer. And nothing goes better with that than this. Sam Adams Summer Ale. Fill your glass.
The four have fought to stay in the game. I'm proud of you guys. Y'all looking good. But someone will lose their seat.
You were the strongest challenger she had. It was a real close one.
The four battle for stardom. All new Thursday at 8, 7 Central on Fox. The FIFA World Cup quarterfinals. Today at 9 a.m. Eastern on FS1.
Introducing Spectrum Business Internet Gig, now available for small businesses just like yours. Delivering faster download speeds, up to 940 megabits per second, across our nationwide fiber-rich gig network. That's enough bandwidth to cover all your needs now and in the future. With over 99.9% network reliability, you can count on every day. Get the speed your business needs, whenever you need it, with Spectrum Business Internet Gig.
Jack Links presents Running with Sasquatch. In life, there are people who hike with poles and drink their meals, and people who feed on Jack Links jerky, a protein snack made with 100% beef. Because in life, you either run with Sasquatch, or you run from Sasquatch.
First Things First is sponsored by Gillette, the best a man can get.
We're going to get to the Kawhi drama in a second. Oh, but first, former slam dunk contest participant Derek Jones yamming on people.
All right, this guy might have the best hops in the NBA. That's not hyperbolic. That's not just a prisoner of the moment. He really might have the best hops in the NBA. This is a tremendous dunk.
That was surprising. I mean, he just kept going up and up. And that pretty good.
All right, on to the San Antonio-Memphis Summer League game where Spurs rookie Lonnie Walker catches a beautiful alley-oop pass.
Oh, Lonnie Walker of floating hat fame from the draft.
Subscribe, please.
He put the hat on.
Oh, that's right.
Am I wrong, see?
No,
No, all right, I got it. He's the one that had the hat that it looked like it was just floating there because of his unique hairstyle. Go get it, young man.
Didn't he also say the Earth is an illusion?
The moon, maybe. These kids, man, these new kids.
All right, Mo Wagner getting dunked on by Marvin Bagley earlier this week, but yesterday Wagner showed he ain't scared. Blocked up JP Tokato's dunk.
Nice enunciation there, Jenna.
Thank you, Cece.
Even a better block by the Michigan man. Responding. Last game of the Summer League. Let me go out to the Summer Nights. Got dunked on first game. No.
13 and 13 for Wagner last night.
All right, here we go. Pre-game before things got testy with Trae Young. We're going to see more of that in a bit. Grayson Allen showing off the bounce. Sneaky athletic.
Listen, he's an amazing athlete. Like, the period point blank, this guy is, even by NBA standards, fast twitch, vertical, speed, all those things, elite level athlete.
40-inch vertical, Jenna.
That's very impressive.
The guy is an elite level athlete.
All right.
I mean, he's a chump, but we'll talk more about that in a bit.
We'll get to the chump aspect of elite athleticism in a second, but first, we mentioned earlier, LeBron not pressuring the Lakers to get a big star. The biggest star out there, Kawhi Leonard, mired in drama, played just 9 games with the Spurs last season and spent his rehab time in New York, not San Antonio. According to reports, when Spurs staffers tried to visit him in New York, Kawhi's people actively hid him from them, literally brought him to another part of the building. Chris Carter, what was your reaction to this?
I'm surprised it took so long to get out. I had heard about it actually when it happened, and not that surprised. What do they say? People say, well, I can neither confirm nor deny.
Can I ask you this real quick when you say you're not that surprised? You obviously can't be surprised about this because you knew about it. You just weren't in a position because of how you learned about it to report it on television. Mike Wright reported it at the Spurs. And by the way, when he reported it, he was like, I'm probably not supposed to say this, but Kawhi's not going to be a Spur much longer anyway. And then he said it. Like, that was the preface of it. So I understand why you didn't feel comfortable going with it. But if you hadn't already known this, would that have then surprised you? Because I didn't know this. This was one of the things you hadn't shared with me. And I was like, I mean, this is, to me, like, it did surprise me. If you hadn't known it, would it have surprised you that they were going to these lengths?
Well, it spoke to their not being pleased with San Antonio, and also with trying to get out of San Antonio.
Yeah.
Like, they were trying to smooth over the relationship or trying to come back together or trying to heal the old wounds, then you would see some exchange of, yes, Kawhi's working out here, and because at the beginning of the process, the people in New York were corresponding with San Antonio and the staff. San Antonio was part, and they knew about him being here in New York. But once Kawhi started progressing, they wanted to see, is he on the court? Where is he at? Like, what stages are he at? And Kawhi in his camp, they decided it's not in their best interest to allow them to see that.
Why?
I can't tell you why they did that, but I just think it explains more about where the relationship is. There's some huge advantages to them not knowing where Kawhi is, and Kawhi felt as if the organization did him a disservice anyway as far as the injury. So what they're doing is they're handling the injury on their own, and they're removing the club from their ability to be able to know what stage of the rehab Kawhi is at. That's why Pop said, you need to ask. He said, you need to ask Kawhi's group. They're going to tell us when he's ready.
Pop wasn't lying. Pop didn't know a lot of this stuff. People were asking Pop for information, and I think people thought Pop was being cagey or trying to send a message by saying,
now we know why.
Ask his group, and it was because there was, oddly enough, the team that knew, theoretically, the team doctor that knew the most about Kawhi's situation is the Sixers team doctor, because in some weird way it works. That's the doctor Kawhi got the second opinion from. The fact that he works for another team, it's not a conflict of interest, I guess, because he has the Hippocratic Oath and the reasons he can't share Kawhi's information with anyone other than Kawhi and his representatives. But the Spurs were in the dark on this. You ask why. I don't know this for certain, but logically I would say it's a power move.
It's a power play and a power move. It is, listen, Kawhi has, throughout this process, exerted maximum leverage. Not a toe in the water, not a Le'Veon Bell, I'm not showing up until week 1. Kawhi has exerted maximum leverage.
He played 9 games last year. Whether it was because he was hurt or not, he played 9 games.
Well, no, he was hurt. We know.
Okay, so yes, he was hurt, but whether he was well enough to try to come back or not come back, it ended up.
He was not well enough. So you know that. I know that. Okay, so you know that his level of health was to where even by the end of the season,
if he was healthy, he would have been there.
Okay,
I kept saying that during the season.
Right, fair enough. And so, but even now that we now have, I know you now have more information today than you did 2 months ago, even if you had this in, you know that at no point during the season, once he left after those 9 games, was he healthy enough to play.
No.
But you do believe he will be healthy enough to play at the beginning of the year?
Yes. Even trade for him. Yes.
Okay.
They couldn't demand a trade, especially as specific and as strong as they've been, if Kawhi was hurt. Just think logically. Because you know you got to pass the physical. So even if you're saying, hey, listen, Pop, RC, I want y'all to trade me to the Lakers. Okay, we trade you. We give you what you want. You're going to be able to pass the physical? Do you think Kawhi and his management team would be grandstanding and saying, you know something, man, we're out of here no matter what, and he's still hurt? That would be stupid.
No, I agreed with that part.
Because he's already severed the relationship with San Antonio.
No.
You don't want to go back to San Antonio.
See, I don't think people doubt that Kawhi is currently healthy. I think the question is, was he healthy enough earlier to where he could have played this season? Or was that part of him exerting maximum leverage? You're saying, and you're as, I think, of everyone covering the story, as connected as anyone I know, if not more connected, you're saying that's not the case. That sometime between the end of the season and now, he has become fully recovered.
But we think that because it has been released, or his people have released, or whoever it was, that he'd be willing to sit out this year, even if he's healthy. So the assumption is maybe he sat out part of last year, even if he was healthy. But now you're saying he wasn't.
Saying that's not, and he's not. What was not reported is that. Let me rephrase. What is being reported is that threatening to sit out. You wouldn't call, according to Kawhi and his people, I was hurt. That's not sitting out. That's missing time due to injury.
Right.
From 10,000 feet, though, where we're at with Kawhi Leonard is here, and I think you'll agree. He had built up an enormous amount of equity and goodwill with not only the Spurs, but with just the league and with fans, with how we viewed him. He has, I think intentionally, because he had to, spent almost all of it. So wherever he goes next, it's almost like you draft like Luka Doncic. I don't know, good, bad, or indifferent about Luka Doncic off the court. It's a blank slate. Wherever Kawhi goes next, if he goes back to being the Kawhi we've always known, he'll rebuild that. If there's more stuff like this, people are going to start to wonder, wait, have I always misdiagnosed, so to speak, who he is?
One thing people are missing is that Kawhi's not happy with how San Antonio does things. All right? They run things a lot like New England. So there's a lot of control. The workout, it was about control. All right? We know you. We own your rights. We want to see you, and we have the right to be able to see you. Now, Kawhi is trying to break free from that control from San Antonio. So he had to not let them see that workout because he's trying to break free. They want every player to do exactly what they say, and Kawhi's like, listen, I don't mind doing what you guys want, but explain it to me. Please explain it to me.
All right, we got to take a break. Coming up, we're going to break down a day of World Cup action with Alexi Lalas. Great slate of games today. That is next on First Things First.
2 best teams left in the tournament.
UFC heavyweight champion Stipe Miocic fights for more than just a gold belt. A proud son of immigrants, Stipe fought for his dream while working 2 jobs and fighting fires for his community. Stipe still fights fires and still proudly fights for his heritage. The belt is a bonus. Since 1925, we've proved that it doesn't matter where you come from. It matters what you're made of. Modelo, the official beer of UFC.
Hey, Stacey. I'm almost home. I'll let you in, okay?
Doorman service, brought to you by ADT. Smart security designed and installed just for you.
Try Firestone tires for 30 days. If you don't love them, we'll refund or replace. So go ahead. Kick them. The Firestone 30-day buy and try guarantee. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
When you rent a car on Turo, you're renting from a real person. No shuttle rides, no waiting in line, and no wandering a car lot. This is better than your typical car rental. This is Turo. Download the app today.
Why build a new high-tensile steel chassis just to lower the driving position 10 millimeters? Because when you're crafting performance, no measure is too extreme. The Lexus LC and LC Hybrid. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
The greatest FIFA World Cup ever is down to the quarterfinals. First, Luis Suarez and the unstoppable Uruguay try to shut down teenage phenom Kylian Mbappe in France's electrifying attack. Then, Neymar puts the hope of a nation on his back as he leads red-hot Brazil into an epic showdown with Lukaku and Belgium. The FIFA World Cup quarterfinals. Today at 9 a.m. Eastern on FS1.
Call Logan AC and Heat Services now and save up to $1,900 on a qualifying train system and get 0% APR financing for 60 months. It's hard to stop a train. Free estimates. Fast, friendly service. Logan Services.
In life, you either feed on Jack Link's jerky, a protein snack made with 100% beef, and you run with Sasquatch.
Woo!
From Sasquatch.
And now for the rings. I'm a 4-year-old ring bearer with a bad habit of swallowing stuff. And if you don't have the right coverage, you could be paying for that pricey love band yourself. So get an Allstate agent and be better protected from mayhem like me.
Call Logan AC and Heat Services now and save up to $1,900 on a qualifying train system and get 0% APR financing for 60 months. It's hard to stop a train. Free estimates. Fast, friendly service. Logan Services.
Ultimate test of the undefeated comes down to 4 warriors, all entering the octagon to battle for the prize, to call themselves the Ultimate Fighter. Plus, undefeated middleweight Israel Adesanya puts his record on the line against Brad Tavares. The Ultimate Fighter season finale tonight at 7 Eastern on FS1.
What color did you paint your room?
The moment you realize you didn't really mean any color you want.
We want you to feel great about your color choice. That's why we have a paint guarantee. If you don't love it, we'll replace it.
4th of July savings continue with $10 to $40 off select paint, primer, and stains via rebate.
Salads should look like this. Crisp leaves of lettuce, freshly made dressing, clean food that looks this good, delivered to your desk. Now delivering to home or office. Panera, food as it should be.
I've been making blades here at Gillette for 20 years. There's a lot of innovation that goes into making America's #1 shave. Precision machinery and high-quality materials from around the world. Nobody else even comes close. Now starting at $7.99. Gillette, the best a man can get.
Don't toss it, JB Weld it.
Back here on First Things First, time for stories to start your morning, brought to you by Ace, the helpful place. Rockets power forward Clint Capella might bet on himself this offseason and take his qualifying offer. This would make him a free agent in 2019. Nick, would this be a good move for Clint Capella?
Very risky move, and a move you see guys typically not do, because the restricted free agency market's usually good enough that they can get nearly what they get as an unrestricted guy, but with the security of it. We saw Nerlens Noel do this, and it's ended disastrously for him. Now, the market is so soft this year, and it's going to be potentially so bold next year, he might do it, but I would imagine he and the Rockets get a deal done this offseason.
Yeah, it's unfortunate how the draft worked out, because if Phoenix doesn't have the big guy available, he might be having a max contract now. I believe he's a lot better player than Nerlens Noel.
Oh, absolutely.
So I believe this is a risk that you have to take. He's young enough, and he's playing with the type of team that he can get a deal there or hit the market next year.
All right, moving on to everyone's favorite teammate, Dwight Howard. He said somewhat sarcastically. He says he's trying to change his reputation as he joins the Wizards on a one-year deal. Nick is already shaking his head. CC, any chance this happens?
Man, it's hard. It's hard for a guy like this, especially it's harder when you're hungry. I mean, it's harder when you're not as hungry, but Dwight's rich. Like, at this point, why would he really? I mean, like, why would he change? Now, I do like the message point, but when you get to the point where Dwight is, I need to watch and see. I'm going to watch him closely because I'm going to give him a chance because if he changes, he'd have to change me. Listen, because I'm not a big fan of Dwight Howard.
I think, you know this, I think Dwight, people have underrated how good he was at his peak, how good of a career he's had. But he is who he is. And if he's going to drastically change what type of teammate he is in year 15, he's going to be the first professional athlete I'm aware of ever doing that. Some guys remake themselves post-career, but during their career, this late in the career, I've never seen someone totally remake their image.
All right, back to Kawhi Leonard news. Despite reportedly not wanting to go anywhere but Los Angeles, some non-LA teams are trying to get in the mix. However, the Celtics and Sixers have not offered Jaylen Brown or Markelle Fultz in any trade packages. Nick, should either Eastern Conference team go all in for Kawhi?
I don't think they should, and I'm certain they're not going to. The fact that the Celtics won't even offer Jaylen Brown, who's probably their fourth most attractive player or pick asset, speaks to where this market is. Part of that is Kawhi, and the other part of that is, as I said at the top of the show, if you think he's a rental, and you think Golden State's already won the title this year, the hell you renting him for? So, like, for all those reasons, the Kawhi Leonard market's going to be a softer market than a lot of people expected.
Yeah, you can see that Boston and Philadelphia, they're really not serious about landing Kawhi. Because if they weren't, they would have these guys involved in those trade talks. But it's also Kawhi and them dropping the hammer saying they want to be traded to Los Angeles. That's the reason why Jaylen Brown and Fultz are not included in these trade talks, because they know the rental piece is not good.
All right, finally, to the NFL, Tyrod Taylor is entering the Browns offseason as the starter, while #1 overall pick Baker Mayfield waits in the wings. Wide receiver Jarvis Landry says that Baker Mayfield can learn a lot from Tyrod. CC, break that down. What specifically can Tyrod teach Baker?
Well, there's so many things that they're not familiar with as far as how the plays come into the transmitter that's in their helmet. That's not something that they have in college football. A lot of the plays are called on the sideline with some type of identification card and whatnot. The audible system. Where do your blitz come from? When you get in certain type of protections, what are you vulnerable with? How to get rid of the football. How to avoid taking those big shots, because both of them are undersized and height challenged. So, yes, there's certain windows that guys like him, Russell Wilson, they can't see what Tom Brady can see. They can't see what Eli Manning. The game they play is different. So explaining that to Baker, all those things are tremendous little tips and keys to be able to help a young guy. So these guys, when you come into mini camps and
for CC to tell it like it is. He generally does. So thank you for that. All right, time now for your World Cup Wake Up. The quarterfinals kick off right after us on FS1. First, Mbappe and France take on Luis Suarez and Uruguay in the early matchup. And then in the afternoon, it's a good one, Neymar looks to lead Brazil against Belgium, fresh off their dramatic win over Japan. That's all right here on FS1 right after the show. And who better to break it all down than friend of the FS1 and World Cup studio analyst Alexi Lalas. Alexi, thank you so much for joining us.
Greetings from Moscow. How we doing?
We are great getting to watch it. You have far more of a first-hand look at what's happening. Let's start with a quick overview. 8 games left in the World Cup. How exciting has the World Cup been for you heading into the quarters?
I've covered a lot of these, and I've been around a lot of them. This is the greatest World Cup that I have seen for drama, for excitement, for goals, for players, for surprises. On and off the field, this World Cup has continued to deliver day after day after day. And for the millions of people that are waking up in the United States each and every day and watching this tournament, I think that they would agree with me. Whether you're into soccer, you're not into soccer, you recognize the theater and the drama, you're into all the stories of the players, you're into the stories of these teams. You want to see those surprises that happen each and every day. And who knows, we might have some more in the next couple of days.
All right, let's talk about the early game. France is actually the biggest betting favorite of any team this round, which surprised me, given what's going on the other side of the bracket. It probably has something to do with Uruguay's injuries, but also how good France has looked and this 19-year-old kid, Mbappe. Like, what do you expect to see in that game, and Mbappe's ability to really assert himself as one of the upcoming great players in this sport?
Yeah, so Kylian Mbappe, the 19-year-old from France, has taken this tournament by storm. It's not as if people hadn't heard of him, but when you do it on the world stage, obviously you're doing it in front of the world. And the fact that he is so young makes it must-see. He is worth the price of admission. His quickness off the mark, his ability that is beyond his years, his speed when he gets out on the gallop, his ability one-on-one, and ultimately his ability to put the ball in the back of the net makes this something that you want to see. We talk about LeBron. We talk about Tiger. We talk about, Kobe. We talk about Wayne Gretzky. When they burst on this scene, everybody had a collective, ooh, wow. Well, that's what's happening right here with this France team and Kylian Mbappe, 19 years old. Now, it's not going to be easy because they are coming up against the best defense in this tournament that is specialized on shutting down people and keeping people from score. So the simple narrative is that you got a great defensive team and you got a great attacking team. When you come up against each other, what happens? Conventional wisdom says that defense wins championships, but I'll tell you what, this team with Mbappe and Pogba and Griezmann, from an attacking perspective, they might just say, fine, we'll let in goals, but we're just going to score one more than you.
Lexi, I hate to do it to you, but you mentioned some of the great players, athletes that we love to watch. LeBron, Kobe. The United States is not participating in this World Cup. Lexi, when does the United States get an athlete on the field that resembles Mbappe? France has one. We got more people in the United States. I'm sure there's more athletes. When will we get an athlete on the pitch for the USA?
Well, we could have had one already. And just by where you're born, sometimes it doesn't work out. So, for example, a player who's playing on the French team may have more opportunities, and maybe in terms of the way he's perceived throughout his youth and then given opportunities, might be put up on a pedestal. And that's not to take anything away from what Mbappe has done. But if you are playing and growing up in the United States as an American player, I would submit to you that it's more difficult to achieve that status than it is for if you're coming up for a team like France, which has won a World Cup, which has an incredible league, which has incredible history of players, which certainly has an incredible array of talent surrounding Mbappe. So, for example, if Mbappe was playing on Panama, which came to this tournament for the first time and didn't do well, but they celebrate going to it, it would be a very different proposition. So, like in any sport that's a team sport, you have the stars, but if you don't surround that star with almost equal amounts of quality and depth, then that star is going to suffer.
All right, Alexei, let's move on to the later game, Brazil and Belgium. Love these two teams going up against each other. Brazil is still the overwhelming favorite. Belgium is playing fantastic soccer so far. What are you expecting from this game today?
I expect for the first time this tournament, Belgium is going to come up against somebody not just equal to them, but better than them. And they are really, this is, I think, a seminal moment. There's going to be a seminal moment for this generation of players if they are able to, from a Belgian perspective, if they are able to get past Brazil. But make no mistake, this Brazil team is flying. We talk so much about their attack with Neymar and Coutinho and these types of players. But this defense right now, they have a solid attack. They have a solid defense. I think they're feeling it right now. I don't think that they fear Belgium in any way. They're going to come up against a very good player in Romelu Lukaku up top, Kevin De Bruyne in that midfield right now. But I think it would, if I had to pick someone right now, it's still Brazil, because I think they are balanced from top to bottom, and I think that they are just feeling it right now. Whether it's Neymar or any of these other players, I think they smell a World Cup within their grasp. And even though Belgium is coming in with a lot of talent and this incredible generation that they have, I don't think that they are scared of Belgium right now.
All right, you mentioned all this talent on Belgium, and if anyone that wakes up early on the weekend to watch the Premier League, so many of these guys on Belgium, those are the stars of the Premier League. Yet, when I check their World Cup, what they've done in the World Cup, in the last two tournaments leading up to this one, you wonder, all right, did they just get these players this year? Like, this is a team that I think it's fair to say is underachieved on the world stage over the last couple tournaments. With what they've done now and the draw they've got, if they can't win tonight, how would you evaluate what they've done?
I would evaluate it as a golden generation that teased us but never paid us off, ultimately, because there's undeniable talent, as you mentioned, and plenty of talent that stars with their clubs, and many also, as you mentioned, that star with their clubs in England. But putting all that talent together, Roberto Martinez, that's his job. And if he were to be able to get this dual generation to live up to that potential and get them to the promised land, he would be king. But others have tried, and I do think that at this point, if this golden generation isn't able to get past this game and obviously get into, at the very least, a World Cup final, they will have let themselves down and they will have let the world down because of the expectations that we have. But as I said, they're facing a very, very good Brazil team, which makes it that much more impressive if they were to go forward by beating Brazil.
England taking on Sweden in Saturday's match. Can you give us a breakdown? How do you recover from the huge win that England has to be able to keep that momentum going in a tournament that we have seen through the years where PKs, they haven't been very, very successful? I saw the fans cheering. Was that their World Cup to win over Colombia?
Yeah, to a certain extent, England has already won because they have broken this curse, and this was an incredible weight lifted off of England. They could certainly go out and lose to Sweden. They could certainly go out and lose to Sweden in penalties, and I still think that this team and Gareth Southgate, the coach, are going to return as conquering heroes. It's not that they want to, but you mentioned in a tournament situation, you have to be able to balance your emotions. So coming off of that incredible win, in particular in penalties, that was wonderful. So how do you harness that positive feeling and go into a team, face a team like Sweden that is very simple, that understands exactly who they are, who they aren't. They don't fear England. They've played England many, many times. Many of them play in England. These types of players that will not be scared of this England team. I was happy the other night. I don't know about you guys, but I was surrounded by a lot of different people I work with and have friends and colleagues that are English. I give them a lot of crap a lot of time, and they give it right back to me because it's kind of fun. But ultimately, I was really happy to see the joy and to see them be unburdened of what I said was just this incredible albatross around them for so long. It was fun to see them celebrate and to be optimistic. And they have an opportunity, a real opportunity, being on that right side of the bracket that you have to admit is certainly weaker. And they have a pathway to get to the World Cup final, which is something that a lot of times, and certainly 3 weeks ago, I'm not sure there were a lot of England fans that thought this was going to happen.
Lexi, I have to ask you before we let you go. You said this is some of the best soccer you've seen, besides the soccer and the up-and-coming stars and the new names and just incredible play. Have you ever seen such incredible flopping ever in World Cup play? Because if there's one thing Americans have taken away, besides fantastic soccer, is nobody, ow, I'm out. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. It's actually brilliant. It's been brilliant.
Yes. So look, the diving aspect of soccer is nothing new. In every World Cup it comes up, especially for people that maybe don't watch a lot of soccer, and they associate diving with soccer. I will say this, one of the things that the World Cup does is put on full display the different ways that we think about the game, the different values that we have, the different ways that we think about what appropriate behavior is and honorable behavior is on the field. And just because we see something as cheating doesn't mean that other countries and cultures see it as cheating. There are certainly countries and cultures out there that don't see diving as cheating. They see it as a necessity. They see it as a skill. They see it as an art. Now, that doesn't mean that we have to, and it also doesn't mean that we stop ridiculing when Neymar flops and goes around and around and around. But I think that one of the things the World Cup does, at least it's done for me over the years, is give me an appreciation and an understanding that while we all have this game that is ours and this beautiful game, we all see it differently. How we see it, how we play it, how we broadcast it, how the media covers it, it's all different in these different languages and cultures and countries. And so, go ahead, have at it when it comes to Neymar diving, and call him every name in the book. But just know that there's plenty of other people that will defend it and recognize it as an art and a skill. If you can wrap your mind around that, that's fine. If you can't, that's okay too. It gives us plenty to talk about.
You know who won't do that? Probably Belgium. Belgium will not recognize it today. Such great insight, such wonderful stuff. Alexi, thank you so much as always. World Cup coverage kicks off at 9 right after us on FS1. Much more First Things First right after this.
Did you actually hurt yourself?
I hurt myself a little bit. I hit myself in the head. That was actually not even a prop.
I wasn't really acting.
It wasn't acting.
Tonight on Fox. Victory is live in prime time.
We're changing the game.
Rashard Lewis came up clutch against the defending champs.
With the game winner.
Now Baron Davis, Nate Robinson, Better World Peace, and Big Baby Davis look to make their mark in the primetime spotlight. Victory live tonight at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on Fox.
Some things should never change, like the crisp cold refreshment of Busch. But some things should, like Frank's Camp Sauce.
Belly buttons are funny. Are you an innie or an outie? What do you got?
Innie?
Tell me what you got.
Outie?
Tell me what you got.
Innie.
We've got 3 innies and only 1 outie. What are the chances?
Yeah, wow.
Open.
Hi. This is amazing. With moderate to severe ulcerative colitis.
Are you okay?
Even when I was there, I never knew when my symptoms would keep us apart. So I talked to my doctor about Humira. I learned Humira can help get and keep UC under control when other medications haven't worked well enough. And it helps people achieve control that lasts, so you can experience few or no symptoms.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Be there for you and them. Ask your gastroenterologist about Humira. With Humira, control is possible.
Better pizza doesn't start with luck. It starts with our ingredients. At Papa John's, that means slapping our hand-tossed dough just right, every time. Get 2 large one-topping pizzas for $7.77 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Every time a customer walks through the door, we promise to take care of the car. There's no shortcuts in life. If you're going to do something, do it right the first time.
Firestone Complete Auto Care. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
Nothing works up my thirst for an ice-cold Pepsi Cola like getting buckets. Whether I'm breaking ankles or breaking hearts.
Hey, Drew.
It always brings some refreshment. I've been drinking it a long time.
Drew, how old are you anyway, man?
Doesn't matter. Uncle Drew, in theaters, June 29th. Future tastes good.
More and more people are finding themselves in a Chevy for the first time. Now you can too, during Chevy 4th of July sales event. Now through July 9th, get 10 to 20% below MSRP on your favorite Chevy models when you finance with GM Financial. That's over $6,700 on this Chevy Equinox. This 4th of July, discover why Chevy is the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
When you rent a car on Turo, you're renting from a real person. No shuttle rides, no waiting in line, and no wandering a car lot.
This is better than your typical car rental. This is Turo. Download the app today.
I'm about to import 50 kilos of Colombian white. I have no one to buy it. We need to find a drug dealer.
First things first, we are going viral. Tom Brady and his family played dodgeball on Instagram. The quarterback wrote, "Typical way to finish the day in the Brady house. Hashtag, there's no crying in dodgeball." You saw how she wailed that?
That looked like my daughter in Monterey.
That girl's got a cannon. I know we're supposed to focus on Brady, but the young lady in the striped shirt, I mean, that was alarming.
It's no holds barred in this league.
Rules, face shots count. It says no crying.
Where's Giselle? Giselle's there.
She got a white top on, blue jeans. She just went to the screen to the left. Checked her out twice.
Wow.
Yep, still on a scale of a 10. She's still an 11. Right
there it is.
Right there in Poppy's arms. That's her. Hold on. Little camera shot. Did you see that guy right there? Tom Brady's son?
Yes.
That's how Tom Brady looked at the combine. With his shirt off.
Oh, this is a great Photoshop from the great movie Dodgeball. This is well done by our staff. I like that. The stuff behind this is always well done. I still am taken aback by two things. The cannon on that girl and face shots allowed. What is this?
Nerf balls. Face shots are allowed.
It doesn't matter. Dodgeball's always had rules.
No, you can't hit him in the face.
Can't hit him in the face.
Especially girls.
No bobbles.
Hey,
none of that.
in the Brady household, all body parts apply.
Okay.
And moving on.
Bill, he has some crack shots.
They say that sometimes what you do is who you are. Utah rookie and Duke alum Grayson Allen might disagree. Grayson got into his first NBA altercation last night in a summer league game. His opponent, fellow rookie Atlanta Hawk Trae Young. The two got tangled, both assessed technical fouls. Grayson Allen, if you'll recall, has a reputation for being, let's call it, aggressive during games. Nick, who's at fault for this scuffle last night?
I mean, there's no question whatsoever. Grayson, yes, theoretically, Trae Young, after Grayson Allen puts the entire weight of his body after hooking him on his shooting arm, he could have walked away instead of pushing Grayson Allen away. But Grayson then did what, of course, he does, which is escalate and then throw his hands up. Like, wait, me? You're mad at me? Let me hook the guy. Let me lean on the guy. Then when the guy pushes me away, let me throw my shoulder into his midsection. Then me? You're mad at me? Is little old me? Listen, I lost a bet because I set the over-under on 2.5 regular season games before Grayson Allen